Hello YouTube, and welcome to my show, Sexism in Movies and TV. For 5 years I've been doing this show, and usually in a new seasonal intro, I give the reasons as to why I do it. Well, I've come up with some new reasons, in addition to the ones that I would give out in the last intro. I do this show to point out all of the horrible misandry, which means hatred of men and boys, that happens on mostly American TV and in American movies. But the really sad part of this whole thing is the fact that we're so desensitized to it that a lot of people can predict when it's coming. And what's even worse is that there are some people who actually find it funny. Okay, a new reason I thought of as to why this show must continue is because the toxic portrayal of men and boys that comes from American film and television is actually the one very big factor as to why men and boys basically have such low self-esteem. And the other half of the reason as to why stuff like this gives young men such low self-esteem is because we live in a world where stuff like this is constantly everywhere, all over the TV screens, all over the internet, all over social media. And if a young man or boy is not in a relationship, assuming he's 13 or older, his peers will instantly start picking on him and calling him gay. Then throw in the fact that there are absolutely no positive male role models on TV or in movies for the most part, and when some actually do appear, these insane feminists will instantly label it toxic masculinity and do whatever they can to make sure that it's ripped off the air and essentially replaced by their own pro-feminist, anti-man, anti-boy propaganda. Another reason why I do this show is to point out the fact that the corporations who make these movies and shows, they want to gain social brownie points, which is why in most Western franchises there are no positive male role models. They seek to gain social brownie points by essentially trading old stereotypes for new ones. They think they're being progressive when they're not. They just exchanged good archetypes for bad archetypes. And they do this to be progressive and get social brownie points. And it usually ends like this. And the third and final reason as to why I do this show is because the portrayal of men and boys, not just in movies and TV, but in all media, has become horrific. To the point where it's downright dehumanizing. And I could see some kid's little sister treating him like bullshit because the characters she watches on TV treat the men and boys around them like bullshit. And it could either lead to this boy becoming abusive towards his sister, or developing really low self-esteem. So anyways, in closing, this show exists to point out the horrible misandry that has infected movies and TV. Now, with that said, on with the review. Okay, in this episode of Sexism in Movies and TV, I'm going to be reviewing the episode Frost and Fire from Adventure Time. And you're probably wondering where I'm going with this. Well, I'll just give you a quick recap of this episode, and then I'll tell you my gripes with it. Finn is on a date with Flame Princess. The Ice King cracks a joke about her making out with a log. She beats the Ice King up, sets his butt on fire, and then the next night Finn has a dream where Flame Princess sets him on fire, and it feels good. After the dream, Finn takes Flame Princess on another date in the Ice Kingdom, where he pits her against the Ice King in an actual fight. And he enjoys it, but then the Ice King, probably because he had home field advantage, gained the upper hand, and Flame Princess nearly died. After Finn had the dream another time and it was painful, he writes letters to both Flame Princess and Ice King, essentially setting up round 3. Two fight and they're evenly matched. And Finn is knocked out where he has the dream again. It hurts even worse, and he's turned into a man baby to symbolize how immature he was being. And then this happens, and the Cosmic Owl tells him it's over. Then when he wakes up, Finn is stupid enough to tell Flame Princess the truth, and she rightfully walks out on him. Okay, now that the story's over, I gotta throw in some complaints. 1. Finn is, in one episode, he goes from the hero of Ooh to the traditional abusive boyfriend, which is more or less the plot of every Lifetime movie of the week. Man abuses wife, Wife gets fed up and has enough. Then in the climax, wife kills abusive husband. The end. And this episode of Adventure Time feels like a Lifetime Movie of the Week. It basically turned Finn, the hero and champion of Ooh, the boy who defeated the Lich, into the toxic, abusive boyfriend. From basically a teenage version of every abusive husband, or in this case, every husband in a Lifetime Movie of the Week. But give those abusers credit, at least they had the guts to actually punch their women. Finn is only half abuser in this. But the other half is him being a coward. He's half abuser, half coward. So in other words, all those abusive husbands from those Lifetime movies are twice the man that Finn will ever be. And calling this guy a hero at this point is... wow, I mean, I can't call him that. He's an abusive coward. See episodes 13, 16, and episode 19 of Sexism in Movies and TV, and you should understand every single thing of what I am about to say. Finn Mertz is not a hero. Season 1 morally is where he hit his peak and completely went downhill. This brat is no hero. The only reason the people of his world put up with his behavior is because the Lich was a thing in universe, and the main characters of Adventure Time were essentially the lesser of two evils. You'd think I'm joking, but I'm not. Season 1 pretty much ruined Finn as a character. If you watch the episodes of Sexism in Movies and TV I just mentioned, you'd completely understand where I'm coming from on this one.